Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Raising Noire Twins. So y'all, on this episode I have somebody back that the people have been asking for. You know, ever since we did our last interview, our last podcast episode together, people have been just asking, liking about it and saying, hey, when you gonna get that girl back on here? And so you know what, it's only right that I got her back on here. So y'all, without further ado, it's my girl, Miss Nyuieko Bansah. Hey
y'all.
What's up, girl?
Hey, glad to be back. I'm excited.
Glad to have you. So before we get started with everything and what we're going to talk about on this episode, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know what you do and your social media handles. How can people follow you and all that good stuff. Keep up with you.
I ain't that interesting, y'all.
She is. She really is.
My name is Nyuieko. I think the last time I've talked about myself, therapist in training, social worker by birth. You know, just here, trying to be black and excellent. That's about it.
And she's doing a good job at it.
Trying.
But okay, so y'all, I follow her, of course, because she's my friend, right? So she's up here being modest, but she really has some really dope things that are going on. And one being that she's in a documentary that's coming up. Is that June?
That's July 6th. So
July 6th.
So I got something.
Told you.
I do got
something. So go ahead. I'm gonna let you just give us a little summary of like kind of what to expect with that, because it's really interesting.
All right. Well, shout out to Muganzo. She's the director of the documentary, and so over the course of about 6 months or so, I've been working with Muganzo in regards to her documentary and basically her political work and advocacy around Black women's reproductive health. Recently, on May 7th, I helped facilitate a panel that she put on in which we had different Black women from throughout different professions in the medical profession, health advocacy space, holistic health, and just community advocacy members to talk about Black women's reproductive health. It's a personal passion of mine as well too, because myself and other people I've known have gone through reproductive issues or just women's health issues, I would say. And it's a good platform to just put that to the forefront, talk about the reality of Black women, and then have us to create a dialogue about how we can be better to ourselves and advocate for ourselves in the doctor's office. So on July 6th, there's going to be premiere of our Melissa's documentary focused on Black women's reproductive health as well too. It's called the BIG HYSTO. It talks about everything from fibroids, endometriosis, ovarian cancer, hysterectomies, infertility, cramps, all that stuff that has to do with the reproductive system. And the goal is to create a healthy dialogue around Black women and us being healthy and us being womb warriors, as she coined it for ourselves. So y'all check it out.
Yeah, see, I told y'all, she be having stuff going on. She don't be telling nobody. You need to tell people.
Right.
We need to know about this in our wombs. Shout out to Wombmates, the book too. Just to throw that out there.
Speaking of wombs.
But so yeah, that July 6th, right, is the premiere. So y'all be on the lookout for that. I will be posting it. So y'all will stay tuned and stay up on it, and when the release date is, all that good stuff.
Tickets are on sale. I'll send the link to you so you can put it into your send it to the people.
Okay. Hey, people. So, you know, Memorial Day is kind of like the unofficial start of summer, right? You know, everybody's getting ready to, you know, we have graduates. All my nieces and nephews graduating now. They all grown now.
They're grown.
One by one. You know, just ready to have a good time. It's nice outside. It's hot. Ready to get in some water. All this good stuff. Go somewhere. And so with that being said, we're going to talk to you about traveling, right? We've traveled together, and actually we're really good travel buddies.
Yeah,
I think we travel really well together.
I think so.
But, you know, you can't always travel with any and everybody, right? Like, I have a friend that she always be like, I don't do groups. And I understand what she means because, you know, it's just too many different personalities sometimes or whatever. But, you know, I think I don't know, what kind of traveler would you say you are?
Well, I'm more of a laid-back traveler. Look, I used to think that group traveling was the best thing until I had an experience in which I had more than enough people attend the trip. It was like 9 people on the trip.
Oh, that's a lot.
It was too much.
That's a lot.
And I had an attitude on the trip, but I normally don't have an attitude. I like to consider myself very easy.
And then on the trip too.
On the trip.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so that's when I came to terms that you can't travel with everybody. But what they say is that you get to know somebody the best when you travel with them, live with them, or if they help you move. I think that was the other one too.
Okay.
Or can we make that up? Either way. But travel with them.
I'm testing out all 3.
But yeah, it's about your personality. I think Shell and I travel really well together because we look forward just to relax.
Yes.
And not to stress.
Yes.
And stuff. Not to plan anything, just to have a good time. Drink a little good rum, see some beautiful black people.
Yes.
And just really escape from the everyday life. Like, if I'm stressed on the trip, I'm not escaping.
Yeah. It's like, what's the point? So I spend all this money to stress?
Right. Right.
It's not a good investment.
So our last trip, we traveled, but I think that's when I came to terms that, 2 people is max.
Yeah.
Maybe
because
3.
not only was it just between us, but there's a whole lot of things that can happen on the trip. And I feel like we experienced those things on that trip. And it could have really went wrong. Like, if one of us were really
high maintenance or
that part,
not flexible.
Yes.
So you have to be super, and I consider myself, I like things a certain way, but I am very flexible.
Yeah.
Of course, reality, I'm not in control of everything.
Yeah.
I think Michelle and I, we like to have things organized, but we're not control freaks. And that makes things easier. Because when we first started traveling, we went to Belize, we hyped it up. We didn't sleep that night. We had an early morning flight.
It was like, when you get ready for school when you was a kid, you have all your clothes
outfits out.
I was like, I'm gonna just wear this. We gotta get early anyway.
Right. And as soon as we got on that plane and we were moving, I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah.
We had a tight transfer from Sacramento to Dallas.
And then Dallas to Belize City. So just to kind of go back and give you guys a little history or how this all came about, right?
Yeah.
So I was just kind of in a funk. I was just I hadn't really traveled a lot since I had the girls. I haven't traveled actually at all since I had the girls. And travel is a big part, I feel like, of who I am, of what I love, my personality, everything. And so it was just really getting to me. So I was just I gotta go somewhere. So I think we decided to go to Lima at one point.
We were going to Peru at first.
Yeah, Lima, Peru. We're gonna go there and go to Machu Picchu, but then I was like, it's such not a hassle, but it's such an adventure to get to Machu Picchu, and I just really wanted to chill, and I was like, do I really got all that energy in me? I don't really think I got that energy in me. So from there, we decided on Belize, but I think before we decided on Belize, my bad, I was like, no, I really want to go to Ghana. Because then I had called her because I was like, look, no one has time off or nobody wants to go, whatever, but I'm thinking about going by myself. What do you think, friend? And I'm so glad I didn't, because what I realized about myself now as a traveler is that I used to be super adventurous. I never even really thought about danger, which is kind of silly, but I used to just go and do whatever, right?
Yeah.
And now that I have my girls, I find myself being like, ooh, I don't know, I don't want to do that, because what if this happens? Or I've been thinking about what if I get kidnapped? I ain't never thought about getting kidnapped before.
Because you have something to live for.
Yeah,
I mean, you did before, but
and not saying, let me just throw that out there, I'm not saying that if I were to go to Ghana that I feel like I was going to get kidnapped. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, in general, traveling by myself.
You want to be safe because you're traveling as a single woman.
Right.
Also, you just got to be cautious.
Yeah.
It's we can't. I think also it's also about being mindful of your space as well too.
Yeah.
And then I think sometimes people get their perception when Americans travels that we don't have a lot of respect or for other people's country and things like that too. So you also just want to be respectful as well too. And,
right. So then, friend over here was like, well, what about Belize? And I was like, oh, what about Belize?
Right. Have you been to Belize? I'm like, I ain't been to Belize.
I ain't never been to Belize.
And we're like, it's an English-speaking country, so, we don't have to do too much when it comes to, trying to maneuver and get around.
Right.
I thought because the main thing you said you wanted the sand and the beach.
Yeah. I just need warm weather, tropical, humid. I need all that because my curls, they've been suffering out here in this dry heat, y'all. I got out there, I was like, oh, they juicy.
And then for me, I just want food and rum. That's all I want.
See, we simple. We simple.
And so I was like, because she called. I was like, okay, I'll do Peru. Also, because tickets were crazy too.
Okay.
I think so also too. And so.
And all of this was within a month's span.
Probably within 3 hours.
Yes. You know what I mean? Once we decided, this is where we're gonna go. It was probably which is really short notice. So I was really appreciative.
I think I bought my ticket before the new year. Maybe a little bit before the new year.
Yeah, either right before or right after. And then we went mid-January.
Yeah.
So and then that's when you still had to get the COVID test and all that stuff. Yeah. So it was time, trying to figure out, is it the 4 days?
Yeah. And that played also a part in us trying to figure out a place because that's when the second wave of COVID was happening as well too. And I work in a healthcare setting as well too, so they're very strict about the protocol, and I'm very cautious about it as well too, just for me.
Yeah.
And stuff. So I was just looking, okay, what does a travel protocol? Because at that time, a lot of people were getting stuck in countries and couldn't get back because they were testing positive for COVID. So I'm like, where do I want to be stuck if I were to test positive?
Right. On an island somewhere. I mean, I know it ain't an island, but you know what I'm talking about.
Similar.
Warm weather. So yeah, so we decided that we were gonna go to Belize, and I'm so glad we did. So like she said, our flight was super early. The next day we flew out of Sacramento to Dallas, but before we could even get out of Sacramento, it was already delayed, and it was so delayed that we missed our connecting flight. Yeah. So at that time we were kind of making a decision because everybody was on the plane already, and it was funny because the mechanic, remember, they was like, first they didn't know if they wanted us to get off the plane or if they wanted to stay on. So the captain was like, okay, everybody's gonna get off. Then the mechanic comes like, no, tell them to stop, I got this.
He didn't even have a wrench.
I got this.
Okay? He did not have it.
He did not. He did not have it at all, okay? And so the captain gets on, he's all like, he needed a wrench. He ain't got a wrench, so everybody got to get off the plane. But the way he said it, like,
he was mad.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
Right?
He was mad. So I was texting the shit. I was like, it's tight. I don't know if we're gonna make it. So let's start thinking about what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So we didn't know if we wanted to stay in Sacramento and then try all over again tomorrow. But I think what we both were saying, or what we both kind of agreed on, was that if we just go to Dallas, at least it's just one more flight. You know, we don't have to worry about trying, like, what if there was another delay the next day, you know? Yeah. So we was just like, we'll figure it out when we get to Dallas. Yeah. So,
and we did.
Get to Dallas, and they ain't got her stuff.
Girl, I forgot about that. I was trying to block that out. I thought I was going straight to the hotel part. They didn't have my stuff. And then they act like they couldn't give me my stuff. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? It's about going to Belize. I'm like, because it was also Mercury retrograde. I'm into the stars and stuff like that. Yeah. And you know, during Mercury retrograde, they said do not travel and make sure that you are very well about communicating.
Yes. And
here we are.
Trying to travel internationally.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to communicate with them that I need my bag and stuff. And so it was about a couple hours it took me to get my bag. I'm like, we're still going to wing it. Michelle got the hotel. I ended up getting my bag.
Yeah. Which, by the way, it's crazy because dude was acting like there was no way she was gonna get her back. Like, oh, it could be like 12 hours and like all this stuff, whatever. It was like, wait.
Right. I ain't got nowhere to go.
We ain't got nowhere to go, and we can't go because our flight wasn't like it was early in the morning. It was later, like midday, really. So it's like we need our stuff. You know, she need her stuff. So anywho, that all happened. Had a good night, you know, in the hotel or whatnot. Started the next, and it was only one flight. Yeah. Flight, I'm telling y'all, travel, it takes a lot out of you.
I don't know how you do flight attending, because
girl, I don't know either. I be tired.
Right. I'm like, you be going to multiple cities in one day. Girl, we was tired, okay?
Man, and that was just one flight from Sacramento to Dallas. And so, you know, we trucked that night up, whatever. That was the night we lost. And so, the next day, our flight, everything was good. Our flight was like wide open. Like there was hardly any people on this flight going to Belize City. And we got there, but when we got there, because we had to spend that day in Dallas, now our COVID test was out of like that parameter or those days that you needed to be valid or whatever. So when we got there, we had to pay, what was it, like $50 or something like that for another COVID test. And that shit was not pretty. It wasn't pleasant at all.
They do a different type of COVID
test. They do. They put their hands through these gloves, through the glass window, and they have no sense of like how far up your nose they are.
They in your brain.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I'm just like, oh, sis.
But I'm like, this is what it takes to get to Belize.
Right. We got to be there on the resort, you know. And so then, this was another thing. So after that, we got the COVID test, and they said they'll notify us if anything came back, which we were good. So there was two options to get to our resort. So I don't know, you want to speak on the options?
So it was, the option was either flying one of those small charter planes from Belize City to Placencia, which is it's on a peninsula in southern Belize. So it's like 3 hour drive from Belize City driving. But flying, it would be 35 minutes. I don't like flying on big planes. It's hard for me to find a Boeing 737 So you put me on those small charter planes,
Girl.
I was like, that's really testing my faith. So I checked them in the shelf. I'm like, do you want to, just get a tour of Belize for 3 hours?
And I'm all like, I don't care. As long as I get to where we going, I don't care.
Right.
But it was actually really pretty though. Like it was really green, and I love nature. Like I love looking at what Mother Nature is like in its natural form. You know what I mean? Untouched. And so it was actually nice that we got a chance to do that. And so yeah.
And one thing I love.
Oh, go ahead.
No, say.
I was gonna say, because if it was up to me, like I would have just taken the flight, but then I would have missed out on all of that, just not even thinking, So thank you.
You're welcome. That's me, my anxiety.
Thanks,
But one thing, right? That's what it works out. I'm just like, I don't know. It's like Jesus and my mom was telling me this ain't right. So,
Right. And we
anyway,
listen.
right. And so, but one thing I love about, like, I know when I travel, I prefer traveling to like tropical areas, predominantly like areas heavily populated by Black folks. Like
True. Me too.
anywhere with, like, my goal is to travel to as many countries in the African diaspora as I can. And one reason that I was really attracted to Belize is because it has a large Black population and just the history of like how Black folks came to the Western Hemisphere and the cultures that derive from it, and how there's like, parts of like West African culture or Congolese culture that you see within the country mixed with like some of the, the Spanish culture or the Latin culture and things like that. Like that interests me. And Belize is unique because, first off, it's not a Spanish-speaking country. There's areas of it that is heavily influenced by the Spanish, but for the most part, it's mixed with like English, French, and Dutch as well too. And so just getting immersed in that is like one of the reasons why I picked it. But when the show's talking about the drive, like, anywhere within African diaspora, just seeing the greenery is like so peaceful and calming to me. Like the whole time that we were driving, I was just looking at like how green, it's like so green, it's almost like blue. Yeah. How the landscape is and stuff. And at that time, that's when, no, it wasn't the fires. That was when I went to Mexico, but the air was so clean.
International over here.
The air was so clean. Like, it feels like water, how crisp and clean the air is. And like, just seeing like the people interact with each other, and like seeing like the mom and pop stands with the fresh fruit. Like, it all comes together. Like when I went to Ghana, it's like you see the same thing. So anytime I go to like any of the countries in the African diaspora, I compare it to like my experience in Ghana and seeing how like similar everything is. It just makes you feel like at home. In a sense. So
that's really and that's why I need to go. You know what? I was gonna say go to Ghana, but it doesn't even have to specifically be Ghana. I just want to step on the continent of Africa. Like that's it. I don't think that's too much to ask. So we're working on it. We're working on it. We got a little bucket list. After we talk about our experience in Belize, we're gonna tell y'all what we got going on, what we plan to do, and hopefully everything will just fall into place so we can make it happen. But so we finally got to our resort after the drive, and our driver was really cool. What was his name?
John. John was the homie.
John was cool. We're gonna talk about John later too. So John was cool. We got to the resort and it was beautiful. Like it was so peaceful. It was like, it wasn't some turn up spot. It was really just like we some grown women going on vacation, like just to chill. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice. Maybe it's the wine.
But I found it on like Expedia and stuff because we were looking, because we didn't know where to begin. I didn't know where to begin with looking for a place to Belize. So I was just Googling like, how far is it from the airport? Even like when I first found the hotel, that's when I realized, after I had booked the resort, that's when I realized that how far I was from the airport. I was like, I just realized I was 3 hours away, But like Michelle said, it was like a nice boutique. It's a local hotel. The owner of it may be abroad. I'm pretty sure the owner of it. Cause they said not a lot of like Belizean resorts were owned by locals, by Belizean. And so the resort that we found was like a nice boutique resort. Probably maybe 200 rooms.
If that. If it was like on two sides.
Right
and
off
then
the beach.
Also that particular resort caters to remote workers, like people that work remotely. And so that was cool. That was actually interesting because I guess because they cater to them, there's a lot of them that work there. So they have these events there once a week or something like that. So I guess they had this little fashion show or something this one particular night. And it was cool. Like everybody was like in the lobby and all this stuff, whatever. But they were a little different.
They were weird. There was a lot of
different.
Europeans and Canadians.
They
weren't us. They weren't us. They weren't our cousins.
The ones that was us.
They were different. Weird.
But anywho, and then I was just like, wait, and they were getting all like close. They wanted to talk to you all up in your face. And this is still like real COVID time.
Yes.
And so I was just like, I'm gonna be pissed at one of them. Like, can you back up,
right?
Please?
I
you all in my
can see
face
from your
and I shouldn't be able to see that, right? So so that was maybe a couple nights into it. But our first day that we got there, you know, we just did like a beach day. We could rent bikes, so we did the bikes and we.
You see, you can post the video of the bikes.
Yeah, yeah. I'll post that again because I posted it when we got back, but it was cute.
It was cute.
So we rode our bikes to go get some liquor.
Priorities.
Get some rum. We were on a mission. This whole trip, for real, we were on a mission to get Belizean rum. Like, you know, why not?
What we were drinking? I forgot the name of it.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I don't know, but I'm find that out and I'll post all that too. But yeah, so we did that. We rolled the bikes down a little bit and all that good stuff, and then we just really chilled on the beach. And the bartender that was across the way, he was actually really cute. I forgot his name. He was really cute.
He was a cutie.
And he hooked us up. He was hooking us up. You know what I'm saying? But we cute too, so why wouldn't he? But so he was cool, and then I think that's all we did the first night. No, we went down to the village.
We went down to the village. We went down to the village. We just did like some sightseeing and it was just chill.
Yeah,
it was so nice. Like we didn't have no plans.
No,
nothing.
And I was okay with that.
Both of us were like, "Girl, you should be playing something." Like,
no.
We did penetrate to a beautiful waterfall, though.
In my past experience when I did organize trips, I was the one planning everything. And then of course not everybody's going to be on board with everything at the last minute. Money will be an issue for some people, etc., etc. But Michelle and I were on the same wavelength like the whole time, like, hey, this, that, and the other. Like,
and then there were even times where like she was like, girl, I'm gonna just sleep, I'm gonna just lay around. I was like, all right, I'll be at the beach. She come out there, I'm up here kayaking and shit, like, hey girl.
Literally, I'm like, hey, I got my red stripe in both hands.
Right, you know? So it's cool that it's like there's no tension, there's no like, well, I wanted to do this, and it was nothing like that. So that's why we're just saying like you need to really find someone that you travel well with, because that makes a whole lot of difference in like traveling and going places and stuff, right?
Because you want to create memories and stuff like that. I think even in the trip we got to know each other a lot more as well too.
And we've been knowing each other for years, but we've never traveled like this before, you know.
And we're different people as adults, you know, as you being a mom as well too. Like you're different. We're in different chapters in our lives. Where now we're getting to know each other in our prospective chapters that we're in right now, you know, and seeing that the growth that we've had, and then like, you know, what dreams we have for you. Talking about your girls, like Michelle was like big, like I'm trying to find a place out here.
Look, I was
so Lala and Cece can run around here in their diapers with no shoes on, like speaking Creole and everything like that, eating like some jerk chicken and stuff like that. Like
I'm all for it.
So she was big on like trying to find a place out there, and it just, I think, especially Black folks, like we have to travel. I think it's necessary for us to travel, for us to understand that our world is so much bigger than what the U.S. has to offer to us, and that we have options. You know, and to see people like you in different parts of the world is so empowering as well too.
It is.
And because our worlds are so much bigger than what is just here, you know, and it just makes you come back and say, I want to do this some more. And also that you also just feels good to be, I love traveling being Black. Like there's nothing like, that's why I'm very specific about where I go, because I don't want to go somewhere in which I don't enjoy the experience because I'm feeling, you know, that those microaggressions. But when I go to like countries within the African diaspora, to Cuba, even Jamaica, going to Ghana, where else, Costa Rica, like all those different places, like to be Black in those countries is like such a good feeling. Be Black, period. But to be in those spaces.
No, I definitely understand. That's why I always tell people, like, I don't know, I feel like deep down somewhere, like I'm really an island girl, like because I really feel at home when I go. Like I don't feel any type of way, like, oh, I feel like weird or out of place or anything. I'm like,
call her like Belizean American? Belizean American?
Yup.
I was like, only she was getting that. Belizean American? She was like, yup.
That's me. But I love it, you know what I mean? And and I really want my girls to experience that, like she was saying. Like that, my main goal, honestly, right now is working towards an early retirement. Let's start there, because don't nobody want to be working the rest of their life.
Period. Okay.
Right. And, you know, moving abroad again somewhere, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be Mexico again. It could be anywhere warm, you know. I just...
Where would you want to move?
I don't know. I just know that it has to be an island. I know it has to be an island. It has to be sand, warm water, and sun most of the time. Like, that's all I know. So those are my goals for me and my girls. And then just to travel with them more, honestly. This summer, I really want to take them to Hawaii. I feel like that's a good first step. Like, kind of, I know it's not international because Hawaii's birthday, but you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like that's a good, like, first step. And then now that they're like mobile and talking and stuff, you know, kind of test out how they're gonna do on a plane and stuff, all that good stuff. So I don't know, but yeah, our trip to Belize though was really good. It was really chill, and again, just know who you're traveling with.
I recommend everybody go to Belize.
Yes.
And if we go again, you know, they talk about San Pedro when they do a lobster fest.
Yeah. Lobster Fest. Y'all need to go during Lobster Fest. If you like lobster, go to Lobster Fest.
We'll be there. We'll be there. Where do you think we should go next, though?
You know me. I'm still stuck on touching Africa. So I feel like that should be our next move.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel like we can start planning now.
That's what we were talking about.
Like, I don't know.
South Africa's been heavy on my heart.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go back to Ghana. You know, that's where my dad is from, and like, as an adult, I went to Ghana when I was a child, but as an adult, the experience is so much more different. When I went in 2019, like that was like one of the best experiences before, and I want to take like all the people that I love there, because it's such like a rewarding experience.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking that maybe we do South Africa.
Okay, we could do South Africa. Why not? I'm for it.
I hear the babies. That's what I'm
Oh yeah. So you might hear the Noire twins in the back. You know, they be trying to make their debut on these videos and on my podcast and everything, which is fine because there would be no Raising Noire twins without them, right? So anywho, but yeah, with traveling to, I don't know, go ahead and comment too on this. Like, if y'all have any travel plans for the summer, or not even for the summer, just period. Like, where y'all want to go?
Yeah.
What's on your bucket list? And make that happen, because it's important. I love traveling. That's what I do for a living, but I love doing it on my own too. And I've always loved learning about different cultures and stuff like that. So that's just always kind of been my thing. And so to have it be incorporated in something that I love doing, and that what I do for work, it doesn't even feel like work a lot of times. You know what I mean? So,
where's your favorite place you've traveled so far?
My favorite place is Salvador Bahia in Brazil. And
that's my bucket list.
Yeah. And like, for me, and when I say this, it's probably gonna sound silly or whatever, but this is coming from someone that had never traveled abroad at that time, and you know, just ready to learn about the world and all this stuff, whatever. And so when I thought about Brazil, I never really, I know there was black people there. Let me just say that. I don't want y'all to be like, why did she think that? I knew that. But typically what you see on TV with Brazilians is not black people, right? And so when I got there, and to see that everybody
Brazil has the second largest black population out any country outside of Africa. They got more black folks in the US.
Yeah. And so when I got there, I was like, oh, okay,
this is it.
I'm home. And the thing is, look, y'all, we had a layover that was like 3 days. So this was like a little mini vacation. And I had 3 of these trips back to back. So that's what, 9 days in Brazil.
Is that rare? Do you often get 3-day layover?
Well, I was based in Miami, so we had those trips out of there. So at that time, it was often like you can pick those trips up, you know. But now, not too much. But back then, I was in Brazil. I remember one of my friends, she was like, girl, do you got an apartment there? Because every time I call you, you in Brazil. I'm like, shoot, I need to get one.
That's what's up.
But yeah, that was definitely my favorite. And just a little fun fact, that's where Michael Jackson filmed the video, They Don't Really Care About Us.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And so they have like this little cutout in their colonial town of where he stood or whatever. So you can go up there, you pay like $1 or something. Go up there and like take a picture where Michael Jackson stood. Like, they don't really care about us. Oh man, but yeah, so we just wanted to share our traveling experience with you guys. Where do you want to go?
Well, my favorite place so far, of course, Ghana, and then I will also say Cuba. I enjoyed Cuba a lot. Cuba's a place that I would want to go back to. We stayed in New Havana, not Old Havana, most of the time, but Cuba was such a unique experience because Cuba had been, the Cuba and the U.S. interaction have been minimal to none for like the last, 50 some odd years, since the 60s, and it had opened up during the Obama administration. But to see a country just without a lot of American influence, meaning like no Western like restaurants or companies and stuff like that, like you couldn't even you had to bring as much cash as possible because you can't use your credit card, you can't use your Visa or MasterCard, anything like that. Like when you're in Cuba, you are operating as Cubans do. Yeah. Which is easy to adjust. You can adjust to it. Just bring as much money as you can. Yeah. But like the antique cars and seeing like folks talk about like how they mastered like building those antique cars from like washer and dryer parts and stuff like that, because they weren't getting, those are old American Ford cars, and they weren't doing trade with the U.S. for over 50 some odd years, so they learned how to like repair the cars and rebuild the cars and stuff. But like seeing like black folks like just entrenched in like this Cuban culture, and then like because of like the political system, like there was things called, what do they call them? Is it Pilates? But basically, people have restaurants because the government runs everything. People have restaurants in their house because the companies, the restaurants itself are run by the government, and so
if they have it in the house,
they can sell. They can cook as much as they want. They can have whatever they want on the menu, and their food. We were told is that they told us like the food was fresher. So we met some people on the street and stuff like that. And they're like, "Hey, go to it's the Pilates." And so they were like, "Hey, go to mom and pop's house down the street. This is the Pilates. It's like it makes a restaurant right out of a house." And they will cook for you, like home cooked meals. They play music. They'll talk about like their family. They'll talk about Cuban history. It's like going to your auntie's house and like sitting down and stuff like that. I've never experienced something like that before.
That sounds really cool.
It was so good. It was so much fun. And like the beaches were beautiful. Like the people, it was just nice. I would definitely go back. For that experience. On my bucket list, of course, Brazil. Like I said, South Africa is one too. I think that's about it right now. I also do want to visit Chile. For some reason, Chile's on my list as well too. So,
Chile.
We'll see. I told Michelle there's a rich woman inside me waiting to burst out.
Me too.
So
we be fighting.
We try to fight and stuff, and she wants to come out so bad. I have to just kind of restrain her and tell her, like, look here, just calm down. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, just not today. So.
Man, this was good. This was so good. So again, it's summertime. Everybody's getting ready to get out there and start traveling. Be safe. Have fun. And whoever you go with, make sure that they're fun too. Y'all on the same page, so that way you can enjoy yourself and maximize the trip. Because there's nothing like going on the trip and you just like miserable. Like, what's the point, right?
If you got a friend that wants to meet men and you just there to have a good time,
it's not.
She may have to plan her own girl's trip,
That's not the girl's trip for you. You know what I mean?
If you got a friend that wants to spend only $100 for 2 weeks,
and you trying to let the rich woman out, and that's not gonna work. It's just not.
So
make sure you're on the same page. Again, if y'all got a bucket list or travel destination that you wanted to go to, put that in the comment section. Let us know what you got going on this summer or in the future in regards to travel. And y'all have a great summer, and we'll be back with other episodes. So it's not like this is the last time you're gonna see us or anything. But so any last minute things that you want to say to the people? Last remarks that.
I'll just say travel. Start small. Go anywhere that you want to go. Whether it's going to the Redlands, or I even want to go to Joshua Park in Southern California, or like I'm still trying to get to the Grand Canyon. Like
I know. Me too. Yes.
So like start small and just be open and adventurous. Don't have any expectations but to build memories. Let that be your only expectation. Is to build memories and stuff. And
that's a good one.
Yeah.
And again, y'all remember to check out the premiere on
July 6th. directed by Melissa Muganzo Murphy. It's called the BIG HYSTO. It's gonna be premiering at the Crest Theater, but I'm pretty sure she's gonna have it on other platforms afterwards. It's about Black women's reproductive health. Tell your mom, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell their friends, both men, women, and other. Y'all need to know about this because everybody encounters someone with a womb, and it's important that we know what goes on with our bodies so that we can support each other and we can remove the shame and stigma behind it.
Right. And so with that being said, y'all know what to do. Like, share, and follow Raising Noire Twins on Spotify and on YouTube so you can stay updated on, new episodes that upload, all that good stuff. Also, you know what? Go to Barnes & Noble, get that Womb Mates, Lansing books. You know what I'm saying? Just speaking of wombs, don't throw that out there too. And this has been fun. Where can they reach you on social media? How can they follow you?
So you can follow me at It's Me Nunu22 on Instagram, and you look for me, when I open up my therapy practice, I'll share that with Michelle, and we can help Black folks heal.
For real. And on that note, y'all have a beautiful night, beautiful people. Peace.
Bye.